Hi, it's Laura of Design for Serenity on this beautiful spring afternoon with your succulent tip of the day. With me is Bentley the Succulent Dog, and together we are going to rework this hot mess of succulents. Now, a couple things about this pot is it has been sitting here. Down boy, it's okay. He's all talk, seriously. There's nothing behind that bark. This pot has been sitting here in my courtyard, south facing, since May of last year. So for like, do you want to do this? Hey, can you just dial it back, please? We're doing a video. Can you be good, please? Can you sit? Sit. Okay. So, 10 months. I haven't touched it. This Sticks on Fire was placed in here as a cutting, too. That's really, really important. If you're working with Sticks on Fire in a pot, please use a cutting. Because this, what's going to happen, I am not going to be able to remove just a few things out of this pot. I'm going to have to take the entire thing apart, because what's going to happen when I start pulling is the whole root ball is going to come out. Watch this. Yep, look at that. Look what we got here. See? So we're going to start over and set this thing aside. And I'm going to take and refill this pot with some fresh soil. And I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, it doesn't matter what kind of soil you use as long as it drains well. So I tend to use whatever I have on hand. This time, it's going to be Miracle-Gro. So we're going to pop in some fresh soil. And you kind of guessed it, we're going to work with all of this stuff as cuttings. So we can bring that soil level on up in the pot really high. Remember to, tamp your soil down, because it does decompose rather quickly. And you don't want your succulents all to sink down in the pot. So be generous. Also, I'm going to mound the soil up a little higher here in the middle. You know how I am about mounds. This will give a more dramatic look to your succulent presentation if you just impart a little bit of height. So my mound is a little bit back of center. I'm going to start with my thriller, which is this Sticks on Fire. I don't think I'm going to be able to dislodge it, so I am just going to, start over again. I'm going to take and cut the pieces. Once again, being careful of that white sap. All right, that's good. Now I'm going to take my 3 pieces of Tiracali, and like candles in a birthday cake, I'm going to set them into the soil just a little bit to the left of center and back a little bit. Now we're going to take this imbricata, same thing, I'm going to cut it up 4 parts, cut off all the rosettes. Ugh, what a mess. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bunch of spider webs in here and a lot of detritus and dead leaves. This really looks rough. Cut up all the pieces. Then, take and clean all the detritus, all the dead leaves off the bottom. I'm leaving a little bit of a stem, just enough to give me something to anchor the cutting back into the soil. Take this opportunity too to look for aphids, mealybug, ants, spider mites, anything that might be affecting your succulents. This looks good, so I'm going to take this and just pop it right in here next to my Sticks on Fire. No, you do not need to let the wound harden. In most cases, I've never lost a succulent from planting it fresh as a cutting. If you're concerned if you have a lot of precipitation where you live, or harsh or extreme conditions, feel free to put it in a box in the garage for a couple of 2-3 days until that wound calluses. I'm not concerned about that though. I love Echeveria imbricata or blue rose. This is such a magnificent succulent. Love the way it grows so tight and compact together. I'm going to have a lot of extra imbricatas left over too, to put in other places in the garden or to give to friends or clients. Very exciting. Okay, we're going to start there. Now the next big thing would be this. Looks like Pacuvaria. Really, really interesting colors. Don't remember what this one is exactly, but it does look like a Pacuvaria. The stem's a little too long, so I'm going to cut it. Pop it in right here in the front. This is a sedum, also looking leggy. Not loving that, so we'll cut it up. Tuck it in the front, around the side there a little bit. So I'm going to basically cut up this entire arrangement for parts and then reset everything into the bowl as cuttings. And here is our finished pot. Oh, cuttings. That took about 15 minutes of my life, and it looks so great. I won't water this pot for a couple of weeks, depending on the weather and if it stays warm or if we get rain again or whatever. But we'll give it a minute to callus off and start establishing a root system before we water again. I've got some extra plant material left over to put in a different pot or in another presentation. And this Bowl O crap here, couple of things. Because these are rooted, if I want to put this over in the garden of death, this will in time all regenerate and throw off new plant material. And you can absolutely do that if you've got the space and you've got the patience and you have the inclination. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity, reporting on a beautiful spring afternoon in Chula Vista, California, with your succulent tip of the day.